Hi folks, I'm at a rest area in Alabama. Southbound 59, Alabama Welcome Center. And I'm starting a loaf of sourdough bread. And I did this, I'm going to start it this morning. And by evening, it's not going to be the best loaf of sourdough bread, but it'll be all right. It'll, it'll taste good. I'm doing this on my tailgate. This is my sourdough starter. I'm going to pour about half of it. I'll put about half of it in there, into this bowl, and that's where I'm going to make my bread. But I got to feed my sourdough now, and so I'm going to precisely measure 400 grams of wheat flour, of King Arthur's bread flour, and that was exactly 400 grams of water. I'm going to mix it up. And the little bugs in there are just going to get all sorts of giggly. And they'll bubble up, and then they'll want to be fed tomorrow, because they'll be hungry. And I'll put this behind the seat of my truck when I'm done with it. And I don't put it on tight, I just put it on loosely. Of course, it wouldn't seal anyway, you saw that. Put about a half teaspoon of salt. I like salt. And I'm going to set this little spoon aside. I don't need it anymore. A long handled spoon. This is one of those titanium pro shop kind of things, but it's got a long handle, and it helps reach down in there. And I got this little anchor. It's like, it's a glass. I could bake in it if I wanted to, as long as I don't get it over 400 some odd degrees. And I bake hotter than that, so I don't use that for cooking. I'm going to use that spoon again. I'm going to dump some more flour into this. Spilt it on myself. I do that every time. Sorry about the road noise. I like it. The interstate's right there, and I'm in a rest area. But if I start this now, it'll be ready to go whenever I get to my campsite tonight, and I can bake it then. Sourdough's kind of slow. At least mine is. And I'm not making a big loaf of bread. This is going to be, by the time I'm done, it'll be a loaf of bread about that big. About the size of my hand. And it's starting to get sticky now. And so I'm going to get a little flour on my hand. See how it's pretty sticky and it's messy. That's okay. It doesn't have enough flour in it yet, but it needs to be mixed up. And when you're making this, you don't want to get your hands too nasty. If you get your hands all sticky, it's hard to get off. So what you do is you get a little flour on your hand and you dust the top of it, and then you kind of, I'm getting flour on my tailgate. I don't want to do that. I need to take that carpet off and wash it anyway, but okay, now see I'm pushing in on it. I think I can pick it up now. Yeah, I can pick it up without getting all kind of crazy. This is kind of a small loaf, but that's okay. I had a big breakfast. I don't want a big one for lunch or for dinner. I probably won't have much for lunch. Once you get your ball of flour, you don't want it too sticky. And add water too. If you want a bigger loaf, add water and more flour. Make it as big as you want. I just don't want a big one. So I don't think I need to add any water at all to this one. Yeah, but this is just about right. This is going to end up being like it'll be like a big dinner roll, very big dinner roll. Well, not too much very big, but big enough. You want kind of a fist size. This is going to be a little smaller than that. You're supposed to take these out, knead them, let them rest for 30 minutes, and come back and knead them again, fold them, do all that kind of crazy stuff. I'm driving. I'm not going to be doing that. What I do is I work this thing until I've got a nice ball of dough. And it's not sticking to my hands. It just feels a little tacky. It's feeling a little bit tacky. It's just right. Now, if you got any fresh rosemary, chop it up and put that in there. It's really good too. Sprinkle a little garlic on it when you're baking it. There's all sorts of things you can do with this. But here's my loaf of sourdough. And it'll pretty well double in size. Now I've got a piece of parchment paper here. And I'm going to put it in the back in the bowl I was mixing it in, but I'm going to put it on this parchment paper. I keep my flour in one of these life without plastic things. Now, kind of put the lid back on that again, and put that back in my kitchen. And then I'm going to clean up and hit the road again. And this evening, I'll bake that bread. But you've already seen it. I made a movie about baking bread before. This is how I do it in the morning. This is the morning part. Baking it is the evening part. start. Bye-bye.